introduce myself. I'm an implementation science trainee and a mixed methods fellow. I finished my master's in clinical epidemiology and I have medicine and surgery from Mara University of Science and Technology. My area of research interest is implementation of pre-exposure prophylaxis in key population through generating practical recommendations. The key populations I'm focusing on are the female sex workers, the men who have sex with men, and the fishing community, the fisher folk. So my career goals are in building a strong mixed method skill set, which is being helped by Professor Katahoile under the PART program. Strengthening knowledge and skills in implementation science research. So I also want to pursue a PhD in the near future and mentor students. My current work, I'm currently working on the manuscripts for publication. I'm also doing a study with some colleague in urology. We are trying to do molecular genetics on bladder cancer. That's using machine learning and artificial intelligence. We want to produce personalized treatment for bladder cancer in Uganda. The benefits from the IMS program. My research career has grown really, and through the fellowship with mixed methods, I have a better understanding of research. When you apply both the qualitative and the quantitative, you really collect rich and comprehensive data for analysis. You understand the participant's point of view, especially when you are implementing something. You don't just impose it on someone. I also got support for my master's in CEB. I got support to learn about implementation science. I have so far presented an abstract in Harare. That's factors associated with willingness to use pre-exposure prophylaxis in female sex workers in Kampala. So I also have a poster presentation in the coming 20th International Conference on HIV and STIs in Africa. That's in Kigali. It's in December. I was already invited. I also have had some good scientific writing trainings. That's all because of the implementation science program. So about my study, the title was, this was a master's study, was knowledge perceptions and factors associated with acceptability of exposure prophylaxis in Kampala, in key populations in Kampala. So the background of the study, Uganda, we have too much HIV. That's 50,000 new infections were recorded in 2018. The HIV prevalence in these key populations is a bit high internationally, even in Uganda. That 1.3% is in female sex workers, 13% is in men who have sex with men, and 18.6% is in fishing communities. This is the recent data we have. But we know the prevalence of HIV among female sex workers is about 47% currently in Kampala. So PrEP is being provided to these key population communities by Ministry of Health and other institutions. But however, they face challenges of retention and low uptake. So this study explored the dynamics of PrEP acceptability in key populations of the MSM, that is the men who have sex with men, female sex workers, fisher folk, in order to improve implementation. And what did I find? I recruited 497 participants. That's 121 female sex workers, 96 MSMs, and 280 fisher folk. So the self-reported HIV prevalence in this population, you can see self-reported, but 27.3% was in female sex workers, 11.8% was in MSM, 6.4% was in fisher folk. And in fisher folk it was worse. People were having HIV and they didn't know what to do, where to go, and they didn't care. While for the MSM, we tried to link some of them to care, and right now some of them are still, they have been linked to PrEP. They really wanted to use PrEP. Acceptability was high. This was willingness to use. I didn't provide PrEP. 82.8% was in MSM, 66.9% was in female sex workers. They had their reasons why they refused. And 80.6% was in fisher folk. The factors associated with acceptability, the fishing communities were at education level. The higher the education and was the acceptability. HIV risk perception and HIV testing behavior. For female sex workers, it was HIV testing the past 6 months and their age. The younger ones accepted and the older ones didn't see any reason for accepting. They are old. And the HIV risk perception was higher in the younger ones because they had so many customers and they were constantly raped. That's what they reported. MSM, there was concerns about acquiring HIV and their female sex orientation. Those who perceived themselves as female, though they are men, they accepted PrEP more than those ones who were like men. Because these ones were vulnerable. They were few and vulnerable. They perceived themselves as vulnerable. So these are some of the things why they accepted the advantages of PrEP. Many perceived it as being advantageous. It will help their lives and it will save their lives, though they had issues that they didn't know where to get it from. Stigma and discrimination was part of things that would hinder PrEP use. Concerns about safety and side effects. Pill burden. Pill burden was mostly in the female sex workers. One of them told me, they told us that when you start taking, there's no stopping. So why would I take PrEP like I'm already infected? And some female sex workers also mentioned that PrEP doesn't stop pregnancy and STIs. So they always get STIs when they start PrEP and they get pregnant. That's why they drop out of PrEP. So, and it was quite some good concern because the STIs were doing them very bad. So, my conclusions from the research and recommendation, there is a relative high willingness to use PrEP across the key population communities in Uganda. So implementing bodies, I know some of them are here, IDI and everybody. So I think they should integrate PrEP awareness services and testing into this. You saw those who were more likely to test were also more likely to accept using PrEP. So they should integrate. When someone goes for HIV testing, also talk about PrEP, things like that. So you should consider sensitization of key populations about PrEP. They had really negative perceptions about it. They didn't really know what it is exactly. They were just speculating because they heard from someone and heard from someone. They don't know the reality. So further research is to explore the PrEP delivery. Some of them, like MSM, mentioned some areas where to improve in delivery. So uptake and associated stigma. So they perceive themselves as being stigmatized. If you are having that bottle of ARVs, they will say, that one is already infected. So it's their perception. So we need to really study, is it really a stigma or it is just their perception? So acknowledgements. My master's was by the faculty, NIH scholarship under Professor Kamya, and the mixed method fellow with Dr. Katamba under the PAT program. My mentors and supervisors, Professor Ann, she has helped me a lot. Dr. Achilles Katamba, Dr. Fred Semitala, and Dr. Flavia Mato. I also thank the Makerere University Implementation Science Program staff because I think I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them and God. Thank you very much.